وسهلا. أنا Artemisa, أنا Mexiquia. My name is Artemisa Jaramillo. I'm president of the Red Arabia MX, and it's my pleasure and honor welcoming you here today. To begin with, I would like to express my gratitude to King Salman for all the facilities in opening the doors of his kingdom, not only to the Mexican community, but also to the international community of highly skilled professionals. Thank you so much. We are honored in helping you build together your Vision 2030. I would like to send our greetings to the President of Mexico, Mr. Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Mr. President, the Mexican community in Saudi Arabia salutes you. Greetings also to Marcelo Ebrard, Minister of Foreign Affairs. I would like to welcome also the representative of the Mexican Embassy in Saudi Arabia. I would like to welcome Dr. Eid Alotaibi from the Saudi Commission of Tourism and Heritage. Thanks, Dr. Eid, for being here today. I would also like to thank Anthony Gavin, Transformation Advisor to the Deputy Governor of Salmon, Chairperson of the Irish Business Network. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being here. Thank you to my dear friends, academics from Princess Nora University and Dublin City University. But above all, thank you, the movers and shakers of the industry of tourism in Saudi Arabia. Welcome. Mexico and Saudi Arabia established diplomatic relations in 1952. In 2012, we celebrated our 60th anniversary. In 2016, it was the first time that a Mexican president visited Saudi Arabia. Today, it's the first time that the community of professionals, Mexicans living in Saudi Arabia, organizes an event bringing together Saudis, Mexican professionals, and the friends of Mexico and Saudi Arabia to discuss tourism, culture, and heritage, and how can we learn from each other. Thank you so much for helping us making history together. Red MX is the official representation in Saudi Arabia of Red Global MX, the global network of highly qualified professionals abroad, a civil, independently run and not-profit organization promoted by the Mexican Minister of Foreign Affairs through the Institute of Mexicans Living Abroad. Red MX Arabia has three main pillars: community, global expertise, and local know-how. Community is what we have here today. Saudis, Mexican professionals living in Saudi Arabia, and friends of the Mexican community in Saudi Arabia. Together, global expertise. Mexico has the highest diaspora of talented professionals from Latin America. In fact, 1 million of highly qualified Mexicans are living abroad, and we're basically mainly living in America, in Europe, in Asia, Oceania, and in the Middle East. We leverage on the presence of Red Global MX, which is home for the international highly talented Mexicans present in 30 countries all around the world. We have around 6,000 associates, and I would like to say hi to them too. Local know-how. Our members work in industries here, such as Aramco, NEOM, Sadim, Princess Nora University, and others. What we do. I want to present to you my dear friend from the chapter of Tucson from Red Global MX, Felipe, thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to show you how is that we are communicating in these 30 countries that we are connected, and how is that we leverage the knowledge that we have, not only in Mexico, but also in those countries where we are based in. Felipe.
Greetings from Tucson in the United States. My name is Felipe Garcia and I'm the Executive Vice President of the local tourism board. The tourism industry is very important for us in our community because it generates more than $2 billion in direct spending here. But for us, working internationally with markets like Mexico, Canada, Europe, Asia, has generated a lot of traffic to our community, a lot of expenditures. But not only we looking to market and advertise and promote our destination, we do a lot of collaboration. A few days ago, I was down in Mexico with Governor Doug Ducey from the state of Arizona, and we traveled to Mexico to talk to Governor Claudia Pavlovich from the state of Sonora, Mexico, to talk about regional collaboration. Likewise, I was in Mexico City, had dinner with the Secretary of Tourism of Mexico, Miguel Torruco Marquez, to discuss about how can we collaborate, that relationship between U.S. and Mexico. So whenever we're looking into marketing and advertising, that is very important. We also look in our community, what we can do that is unique and different that will attract those visitors. And to us, it's been very successful, generating huge economic impact and jobs here in Tucson, Arizona.
So, thank you so much for being here today. And as I say, because this is our first event and the first time of its type in the history of Saudi Arabia and the Mexican community, with the Saudi community of the Friends of Mexico in Saudi Arabia. So I welcome you and thank you for helping us making history together. Let me present my country to you. I would like now to move on and welcome Jorge Hernandez. Thank you so much, Jorge, for being here. Jorge is representing the Mexican Embassy today, and please, Jorge, join us.
Thank you, Artemisa. I'm here in representation of Ambassador Alfredo Miranda, which couldn't be here with us today. As you know, there's a new elected president in Mexico, so he's preparing his travel back home in order to present himself all the work we have done in Saudi Arabia and all the work that we will continue to do in Saudi Arabia. As Artemisa pointed out, Mexico and Saudi Arabia began diplomatic relations in 1952 when both minister plenipotentiaries approached each other in Washington, D.C. in order to engage in international relations. From there on, just a small, I had to pinpoint that in 2016, as Artemisa pointed out, there was the visit of the Mexican president, but this is in fact the second time a Mexican president visits Saudi Arabia. So there has been already high-level ties between our countries. And as Artemisa said, we are highly connected by a very, very small and very huge fact, which is that both countries share an ancient heritage, a rich history, and also a link about economic development and commerce and experience in industry, and mainly today also as in tourism. Also, Mexico has been, or it is one of the most visited countries in the world, not only because of Cancun and the beaches, which are pretty famous, but there's also other types of tourism, which in my experience here at the Mexican Embassy is that we have the interest from Saudi Arabia in order to visit the to places like Cancun, Cabo, and all the beaches, which is, we have a very good starting point from there. But Mexico is, as also Saudi Arabia, has a huge potential for visitors abroad. We are trying to get back, we're trying to have people to be enticed by them, and to have more Saudis in Mexico and more Mexicans here in Saudi. Just to finish and give the initial kickoff for the very interesting presentation, I would just like to say that thank you very much for having us here. We at the Mexican Embassy, we are very, very glad, we are very happy to see that the global network for highly skilled Mexicans is commencing to engage, to have the connect dots of people from Saudi Arabia to Mexico, Mexico to Saudi Arabia, and also our friends from other parts of the world. In such an interconnected world, we cannot be just have a mind closed by small barriers. So it's better for us to open to that everyone that is interested, you're mostly welcome. So thank you very much, Artemisa.
Thank
Shall we kick off?
Yes. So, as Jorge mentioned, thank you so much. In Mexico, in fact, tourism, Mexico last year, in fact, we were the 6th destination for tourism in the world. So this is one of the biggest industries in Mexico. So yearly, we receive 40 million visitors from all around the world in our country. So we're welcoming you too. So, well, without any more preamble, I would like to welcome Dr. Eid Alotaibi. So Dr. Eid works in the Saudi Commission of Tourism and Heritage. Thank you so much, Dr. Eid, for being here today. And the podium is yours. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to thank you all, and a special thank goes to Artemisa for inviting me and for organizing such a great event. And I would like also to thank everyone in this hall. In fact, when I received the invitation from Artemisa, I was thinking of which presentation that should I go for. Taking into account the time that I was given, I decided to talk about the program that I'm leading, which is the Stakeholders Empowerment Program. I'm not going to talk on the technical level, I'm going to talk in general about the program and the way that was implemented in Saudi Arabia, and I will let the list for your questions so I can answer whatever you ask for. My name, as you can see, is Eid Alotaibi. I hold a PhD in Hospitality and Tourism Management from the University of Surrey, UK, and I also hold an MBA from the same university as well. I worked for different organizations. I started my career as a reservation agent in Saudi Airlines. That was 98 when I was doing my bachelor degree. And then I moved to Riyadh Intercontinental Hotel as an assistant manager for 5 years. And because I like to quit every time, I quit the second job. And then I did my MBA at the University of Surrey, UK, and then I came back. I joined Saudi Supreme Commission for Tourism at that time. That was in 2005, 2006. After 1 year, I decided to quit and go back to UK. When I did my PhD, and then I came back, I joined King Saud University as an assistant professor for 1 year, but at this time I did not quit. I was attracted by another university, which is the University of High in Northern Saudi Arabia, where I was the chairman of the Tourism and Archaeology department for 2 years. And then I got an offer from the same organization, Saudi Commission for Tourism, to work as a consultant, and now it's my 3rd year with them. I think we today going to learn from each other. I'm not going to give a lecture, but I'm trying to make it an interaction or an interactive presentation between all of us. Actually, when the Supreme Commission for Tourism started nearly 20 years ago, I think we are in Saudi Arabia were very lucky to have such a president. Prince Sultan bin Salman, he's a visionary guy, he's an ambitious guy. Before he became the son of the Saudi King Salman, or before his father became king of the kingdom. And nowadays, actually, the tourism sector is actually having a very strong support from the top leading guy in the government. And at that time, we were discussing the tourism sector as a very complicated and interrelated sector. How can we build this sector from scratch? The tourism sector is new, actually, tourism industry in general is a new industry in Saudi Arabia. And we were thinking of how can we bring all those people together in order to lead this huge industry. So we came up with the main concept of the empowerment. We call it tamkeen. Tamkeen in Arabic is a synonym of empowerment or enabling people. But what are the tools that we can use in order to tamkeen or to lead or to support or to empower stakeholders? We thought that the Supreme Commission for Tourism have some strong issues in terms of the data we have, in terms of the policies that we create, and in terms of the relationship that we have with different stakeholders. And we decided to transfer this knowledge and to seek the help and the support from other stakeholders. So we create our slogan. We need to lead the team at the first stage until we succeed. And then at the final stage, we will receive and leave the leading for those stakeholders in different regions. So the last station we want to reach is to decentralize the management system or the tourist sector management system and leave the management for those central regions, and reaching to the stage that we will have like a supervision role, giving information, giving guide, advice, but the lead will be in hand of those regions. So, giving a quick feedback of the program, we noticed that some local stakeholders in regions have not taken appropriately interest in supporting provincial tourism organization (PTOs). We have in Saudi Arabia 17 PTOs in different regions in Saudi Arabia, resulting in their lack of effectiveness and sustainability. So we try to help them at the first stage and to sit at the table to hear from them what their comments, what their advice, and what are the points that we share at the first stage and where can we start from. Each region has its own attractive, its resource, and its uniqueness. So we at the first stage, mention to them that we are not trying to create a unified region. We are trying to create a very distinctive sites, destinations, in order to attract people to different destinations within Saudi Arabia. There is a real need to maximize these efforts through a serious review of procedures. PTOs should support sector, head office, and we used to call Saudi Commission for Tourism sector because it was previously Saudi Commission for Tourism and Archaeology. Overall, moderate roles, responsibility, and core function. And then the PTOs that exist today should not continue to serve as local or regional destination marketing organization only by themselves, as they have limited collaboration with the local stakeholders at this stage. The development of tourism at the local and regional level should be led by organization formed and led by local provincial stakeholders. As we mentioned before, not to have like a unified destinations, but like have a distinct destinations in each region. The success of the tourism sector relies heavily on strong local tourism efforts and independent local provincial destination marketing organization, which need to be established. Over the past 20 years, sector worked creatively to introduce the concept of partnership. One of the most important things that sector has done on the early stage is to sign partnership with most of the stakeholders, cooperation, partnership, and to identify the objective and the goals that we need to achieve with every stakeholder. As we mentioned, Tamkeen continues to engage to empower the regional partner and continue to strengthen their capability and capacities and capabilities in leading tourism development at the regional and local level. There is a role for sector head office and the PTOs to support the formation of local destination management and marketing. Sector is making sure that the process is owned locally to help to ensure the success, continuously assess the readiness of regional capacities in assuming leading role at this stage. Sector started a few years ago transition rule from headquarters to PTOs. So Tamkeen is continuing to continue and widen and systemize the transition process of rules from PTOs local tourism organization. Tamkeen will adopt the application for tourism trades, المسارات السياحية. We have now in Saudi Arabia more than 47 tourist routes, مسارات سياحية, that goes through different regions, some of them desert, some of them mountains, natural sites, national heritage, etc. And some of them are religious actually, that goes through Mecca and Medina. So we are working with those stakeholders in order to develop the infrastructure for those routes, Masarat. We have an agreement with the World Bank. We have a team that comes regularly from the World Bank to develop tourist routes within Saudi Arabia. Now we are working on a new road in Saudi Arabia, which is in Asir region, in the south region of Saudi Arabia. We have done more than 65 for the project, and next year we are finalizing the project where the route will be ready for people to visit and to go through. So region in Saudi Arabia will take the leadership for tourism development. Sector will be the facilitator for the development and will act as a center of excellence until, as I mentioned, we reach to the supervision level. Sector will develop and manage an integrated program to allow for leadership transition to take place. Tamkeen program is an integrated program to allow knowledge development, developing region tourism knowledge, creating and promoting competition environment between the regions, providing access to government funding for tourism development, spreading awareness of the benefit of the tourism and its economic and social impact. So some region has already taken the opportunity and shine, as we mentioned. Some of them need more support. The transition program requires major funding from the sector for the first 3 years, which actually we have done most of it, and we are now in the final year. This is the fourth stage of the program. We have done already 2 stages. To ensure the required impact and appropriate capabilities built, sector continue to be the NTA setting the national policies, national plan, regulation, etc. So to make it simple, we have 3 pillars for the program, for the Tamkeen program. The first pillar will focus on knowledge. This is the one here, building knowledge for stakeholders. In order to help stakeholders to lead the tourism industry in different regions, we need to help them to build knowledge. So we have, in sector, we have research center, we call it MAS, which is the Tourism Research Center, the first tourism research center in Saudi Arabia. We have statistics about all various activities of tourism and national heritage. So we provide stakeholders with necessary information. We actually have ongoing workshops, and we have sites to get feedback from those stakeholders. After moving from the first stage, which is building knowledge, we go to the next stage, which is resource support, either human resource, financing projects, and providing technical support as well. For the Saudi national initiatives, the new initiatives, we have designed a program to financially support developing some regional sites. So the program provide loans, very low interest rate to investor in order to invest in those less developed regions for all the different type of tourism projects. We finance hotel investment, visitor center, also all the activities, furnished apartments, all the activities related to tourism. So if the investor have an idea that he wants to establish on specific region, we try to actually to exclude it, the developed regions, west, east, and central. So we ask him to focus on those less developed regions like north, south, and some of the southwest parts. So he submits the proposal. We have a community that study the proposal and then give him the final decision. If the loan is approved, he will move to the next stage where he can provide the necessary documentation or the documentaries. At the end, he will get the loan in 5 years, and will have the first 4 years, we call it the tolerance zone, that we don't deduct any amount out of the project until the project goes on and operates. So the mission for the program is to promote and develop regional leadership for tourism development, led by the Regional Tourism Council and support sector Tamkeen program. In terms of the knowledge building, as I mentioned, I'm not going to go through these details because I mentioned it previously. We provide the knowledge, help stakeholders to build the knowledge. We provide the financial and human support and technical support, and we create actually a competitive environment between those regions in order to accelerate and to achieve competitive advantage in each region. For this reason, we have the annual tourism award, which is given actually to the most attractive and developed region. So the region that achieved as many as it can of tourism project in 1 year with high quality will get the annual prize. Plus that we started with the Saudi Vision 2030, a new project that actually built a travel and tourism competitive index within Saudi Arabia. So at the end, we will have a local index that actually compare between the region and see the strength and the weakness for each region where we can develop and work on. Those are the stakeholders that we are working with. Chamber of Commerce, municipalities, regional university and college, private sector, and regional tourism development. This is the program life cycle. We have 2 stages. We have delivering change and driving change. So we have various phases, assess, and then design, and then I'm gonna read this factory, yeah, and then trying to implement, and then the cycle will go again and again. So every stage we have like a review based on the outcomes and based on the feedback that we have, and then we try to create the cycle again in order to improve the process and the outcomes as well. So the success of the program relies on a number of partners in the regions: Tourism Development Council, provincial municipalities, and Industrial Chamber of Commerce, the private sector and the local communities. The key success issue of Turkey is, first stage is to decentralize of central organization environment, regulatory environment for government, as you know, and I think this is work all over the world, where the environment of the government is generally centralized. So one of the main objectives of this project is to decentralize and to leave those PTOs, regional PTOs, to lead the tourism within their industry, enabling partners according to what they want. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is it time to question or shall we leave it later?
No. Please go after, please.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. How is your organization doing with the mega projects? Are you involved with any of those and collaborating with the projects?
Say it again, sorry. I didn't get the first.
Is your organization collaborating with any of the mega projects currently?
Yes.
The giga projects?
Yes, yeah, we do with two main projects, NEO and Amala. Have you heard about these 2 projects?
I'm with Leon, so I was just wondering. I'm with Human Resources. So.
Yes. So we are taking care, we had a meeting previously, and we are taking care about the issue of regulation and policies in terms of the hospitality industry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Why you have what you call gap between you and BTO? Or who is it? First the question, who is it BTO? من هما?
Yes, we actually, when the sector started, as mentioned earlier, the main aim is to move toward empowering regional organization. So we thought that the first stage is to have our PTOs, مكاتب إقليمية في المناطق and different regions in Saudi Arabia.
That's mean sector branches all
that's
around
right.
the kingdom.
Yeah, it's more or less our branches. So they are working for sector. Some of them.
But it is your employee.
That's right. That's right.
They get salary from you.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And even the strategies are reviewed by the head office.
Yeah.
So
How many PTO you have? Said 17.
17, yes.
And Saudi Arabia is 13 provinces.
Yes, but in some regions we
Have more.
we have to have like
Like
three,
Mecca,
like in
Mecca is
Medina,
five.
yeah.
Yeah. And five to the Mecca.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so why you have gap? You said there is some, in the first slide you put, you have read this. In the beginning you lead, you success, then you have
Received.
why?
Well, as we mentioned before, sector cannot lead the tourism sector in terms of, let's say, supervision on every tourist activity. It's impossible because tourism industry is very complicated, very interrelated with different stakeholders and different organizations. So we cannot go to that level. And I think it's an international model that every region lead its own tourism industry based on the strength and the attractiveness within this region. So the idea is to give the lead to empower stakeholders within this region, because at the end we don't, as I mentioned, we are not trying to create a unified tourism industry. Giving them the power and providing them with the necessary information and the resource will allow them to compete each other, to bring the best they have in the regions. And one of the good things in Saudi Arabia, different regions, wherever you travel, whether to west, east, north, you have different culture, you have different sites, different attractiveness, and even different nature. So this is the reason, not to have a unified tourism industry, but in other words, have various attractiveness. I hope I answered your question clearly. Thank you.
No, about those offices,
Yes.
They are supporting whom? Those distributing offices?
The regions.
Yes.
Supporting whom? Supporting the tour operator, the tourism sector, or the tourist?
Supporting every issue related to tourism. And the first stage is supporting the head office. And they are more like executive office. They are dealing with the daily task in terms of license, in terms of inspection, etc. So yes, hotel industry is one of the main and major sectors that is still supervised by those PTOs, tour operators, tour guides, travel agents,
Okay.
archaeological sites.
What about the preparation for this industry from bring the new generation to this industry? What the attractive things? What are you doing with for colleges, universities, other diploma discipline to bring the new generation to this industry?
As mentioned before, we have signed partnership with various organizations, and one of them are the universities and the tourism and archaeology schools. We have, in sector, we have what we call TECAMO. TECAMO is a program that is responsible for empowering, training, and attracting Saudi people to tourism industry and archaeology. And we have actually nearly 100 students with sponsorship, King Salman sponsorship, studying all over the world. Some of them in the United States, some of them UK and Australia, New Zealand, and we have Japan,
It's
China.
sad to hear that if we have 100 doing something abroad, it's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you give some of your programs to be trained in the university? Or all you do it in the camera?
No, we
Why
still,
not?
at the end, they are a government sector. We support in reviewing the curriculum at the university. We are trying the main issue within the tourism, and I think it's like any other social science discipline, is linking the theory with the practical. And this is an international issue. It's not.
No, not the international.
It's okay.
Like summer training, like for tour guide, why not the university can do it? Because they have the academic people and they have
Yes, in
professionals.
this.
Still Takam will do it.
Takam,
I have my
still-
training as a tour guide with Takam.
We are not providing any certificate. We are doing training and
Right.
workshop.
No need
When I mean
to-
certificate, it's not a diploma, it's not a
I
bachelor
know it's
degree.
5 days, but I mean, why you don't make this partnership with the universities that they can run it all the time and
We started with King Saud University, but I'm not sure whether they do it for ladies or
no,
not.
they don't do even for men, you know. No,
So
they
King
don't.
Saud, no they do.
Tour
They-
guide they do to the workshops done by Takam, separate from.
Have you been
King
to
Saud.
Tourism and Archaeology College in Saudi?
We have their students, they work with us as a train, we train them. They work as training in our office.
They have some courses for,
Yeah, some courses, but I'm talking about something else that's what we see in some different country. University give this kind of training, like what's called the social
social
responsibilities as Prince Noor they can do, or Dublin, College Dublin they can do it, but Mexico, I believe, if they want.
Or Mexico can do it. Oh well, Mexico, Ireland, those are we are here together. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, let's move on now. There is another question here from Dr. Sarah Present. Please, Sarah.
Hi, thanks very much for a very interesting presentation.
thank you.
And you're right, it is a global model. That is what most countries do, is they break it down to regional level, they allow the regions to be empowered to gain control, to feel autonomous, etc. But normally, most countries, particularly geographically big countries like Saudi Arabia, also have to have a program of national country branding. Is there also in conjunction, it's almost like a franchise model. It's like a government level will brand the country and then the regions can filter in underneath that. But obviously the regions can't brand the country because obviously they don't have resources and skills to do that. So I'm just wondering if there's an umbrella program as well.
Thank you for this question. Yes, we do. Actually, I didn't, at the very stage, I said that I'm not going to the technical level. Because if I want to talk about the initiatives that we have created, one main initiative is to market Saudi Arabia. We call it marketing Saudi Arabia as a global destination. And we are working in parallel with another initiative, marketing Saudi Arabia and mainly Mecca and Medina as a Muslim destination. So in general, we are talking about Saudi Arabia as a global destination, and within the details, we have to brand some regions based on the strength that we have in there. Yes, the answer is yes. Thank you.
Dr. Eid, those are fantastic news for us. So now we are only hosting 2 more questions. So I think I saw there, Dr. Al-Ardi, do you have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, you had talked about role of investment within the regions. How much of it is private initiative, and is it totally private investment, or is it public-private partnership?
That's a good question. Well, I have some slides if you want me to show you, where we have figures of the total projects that are already funded.
So you talked, for instance,
It's
about centres, visitor centres, being one of the things that would be under investment. So who comes up with the idea? Is it the private investor who goes to the government authorities, or is it a bidding process instigated by government?
Can we see a slide of this visitor center? You have it? Actual photos or?
Yes, I have it on your screen. speak, but
Okay,
I don't know
okay.
if you have time or not.
After.
Thank you, probably answer just for some petit committee. Thank you so much.
I'm just wondering about the problem in terms of maintaining quality, if it's a private investment.
There are a lot of details, but in general, those projects that are related to the sector directly will be actually built by sector itself. But those projects that support, let's say, the tourism industry will be given to the stakeholders. For example, in terms of hotels and apartment investment, we actually push private sector. We don't go there as a government. But in terms of protecting national heritage, no, we are going there because there are a lot of details that we are concerned, and there are so many things to do and not to do with the national heritage. So just not to go through the details, we are working both private and public sector. But the financial fund go to the private sector in order to empower them to get involved to develop the tourism sector.
Thank you, Dr. Eid. We're going to host one more question, and then at the end, of course, we still have some time to network and some questions, petit comité with Dr. Eid. So please let me welcome now Huas. Please.
Hello everyone, I'm Fawaz Al-Bathi and I'm an international finance student at Dublin University. So I was going to tell you about, are you planning to cooperate with abroad companies?
In terms of what?
In terms of the activities and yeah.
There is an important issue with sector, not like any other commission. We are facilitators, which is very important. The mission when sector was actually started was very clear. We are facilitators of the tourism sector. We did not, and we will not go to the, let's say, the functional level. This will be either delivered to the private sector or will be driven by other commissions. Now we can see the Commission for Entertainment and Commission for Sports are doing this part. We are still keeping our line, not going to the functional level. We have many agreements, but it does not mean that we will do the task. We only facilitate.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, there are tourists when they went to any place in the regions, and they, I think it's simple things like, for example, in Abha, they have more mountains, so why don't we have the parachute activity? Yeah, they can do it. We have the nature and yeah, I mean, activities like this.
Have you been to Abha this summer?
No, I've been to Switzerland, that's why.
Because we fund an event this summer in Abha doing parachute.
Yeah. Great, that's great.
As a facilitation, we provide in coordinating with stakeholders the financial support to various activities. In this year, 2018, we financed more than 50 events around the different regions with a total of 7 million riyal. So we are doing activity in coordinating with stakeholders. We are not doing it, they are doing it, but we are providing the support, technical support, financial support to those stakeholders, and logistics as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Eid. Thank you so much for now. It has been a really interesting discussion, I think, and I think we all have lots of things to learn from now on. So thank you so much, and also, well, I'm gonna go and do a little bit of clicking here on my own, just because I would like to thank you before we move forward. I would like to thank you, the government of Guerrero and Mexico and the Minister of Culture, because Dr. Eid, they send you some really traditional handicrafts that is called cajita de linala, which is made by a special wood from a tree that is particular from this region in Mexico. So thank you so much for them to SaudiMX, and Dr. Eid, please.
Thank you so much. And this is from us, on behalf of the SCTH Caribbean, because we're very, very, very grateful for you and your time, and thank you so much for everybody. Thank you. We're going to Thank you. So, and on top of that, thank you so much, Esther. Thank you so much. On top of that, we have a little present there for audience. So it was actually Jorge's idea. So we wanted to give you something like a little takeaway from Mexico, so that you keep us there and be close to your hearts this morning. So do you want to introduce what this is about?
Yeah, if you are you would be very gentle to look under your seats, you can find a pink sticker. Oh, it's right there.
Thank you.
It's just a small CD from Mariachi Music.
Very thank you. I'm glad to be the person that can collect the stickers.